ASWG-29, Gundam Astaroth was one of the 72 Gundam frames that originated from the Calamity War. Its first form is the Origin form, and is primarily scarlet red with small gray and white highlights and a maroon chest plate, 2 giant pylons on each shoulder and a giant booster pack on its back, as well as a sizable sheath adorning its waist like a samurai. Its head and face have a very aggressive design with a sharp horseshoe V-fin. It was originally owned by the Warren family, a family with ties to Gjallarhorn. They were examining a fierce battle on the moon and recovered the Astaroth from a crater, and they kept it in their family for many generations. But they were forced to sell it when the family went into financial ruin because of shady business dealings. So selling this valuable mobile suit and family heirloom was the only option they had left. Its armor and equipment would be picked apart and sold, as Gundam equipment was very rare and highly sought after. In fact, some of its armor made its way onto some other suits, like its shoulder pylons were used as shoulder armor for the STH-14 T2C Callisto. Astaroth Origin form does have a slight transformation form. Not as big as Gundam Flauros, but its back booster is able to shift up and the shoulder pylons move horizontally, becoming wings, allowing this machine to enter a flight mode. In this mode, it is able to fly at high altitudes as well as glide for long distances. Astaroth is the 29th demon in the Ars Godia and is the demon that this mobile suit's name is derived from. Armaments. 150mm shotgun. Because of Astaroth's high mobility and rapid approach abilities, mid to short range weaponry was best suited for it thanks to its fast speed and flight mode. Y Nanolaminate Sword. This crimson-colored katana has the ability to slice through and render nanolaminate armor ineffective. This is due to the nanolaminate Y reaction on the blade's surface by the transmission of compressed AHAB particles from the connector cable, causing the nanolaminate armor to break down. Currently, though, this technology is completely lost. Sledgehammer. The nanolaminate sword's scabbard is not only used for storing the sword, but can also be used as a sledgehammer because of its shape and size. The second form of Astaroth is primarily white with red and blue armor throughout the unit, as well as missing pieces all over its body, like on its knee and calf. It has an asymmetrical design with bigger blue armor on its left shoulder and arm that comes from a spinner roadie frame, with a giant folding knife slung over its back, as well as 2 giant boosters on either side of its waist. The suit would be acquired by Tonto Teppo's Ted Morgaton until Argy Mirage, a would-be assassin, comes to kill Ted on a hired job, but is interrupted by another assassin in a mobile suit, supposedly there to kill them both. Ted saves them by throwing a flash grenade and getting injured in the process. Ted asks Argy to kill him, but Argy hesitates, seeing killing the injured man as lame, and opts to get in his mobile worker to fight the mobile suit. Ted, seeing Argy's spirit, has Volko Warren, his assistant, allow Argy to pilot the Astaroth and beat the mobile suit assassin. And so Astaroth switches ownership to Argy Mirage with Volko Warren as the mechanic. Volko Warren is actually a member of the Warren family that owned Astaroth. Ted was a friend of his father's, and when he purchased the family's mobile suit, Volko came to Ted and basically pleaded and promised to serve him as long as he can restore his family's disgraced Gundam. So Ted took him in as a child and allowed Volko to try and restore the Astaroth while serving under him. Volko is completely and utterly obsessed with restoring the Astaroth, seeing it as his life's goal and his purpose. Argy pledges to help restore the Astaroth and to get revenge on the Gundam that killed his family and took his hand in a colony attack when he was a kid. Not much is known about this Gundam, although its silhouette does look similar to Barbatos. Armaments. Because of Astaroth's asymmetrical design, it has 2 boosters on its waist called booster armor, which helps with movement and posture control, because its weird center of gravity due to all the missing parts and mismatched parts. Demolition knife. In the great words of Crocodile Dundee, "That's not a knife, this is a knife." This giant folding blade is stored on the back, and when unfolded is taller than the Astaroth, taking after Guts from Berserk. This massive sword is so big that a giant 3-fingered manipulator was installed under the subknuckle to wield this blade. 120mm anti-material rifle. Going along with the theme of oversized weapons, Astaroth also carries a huge rifle taller in length than the Astaroth. Panzerfaust. It has a pair of Panzerfausts that are stored on the back of the shoulder armor. Neural connection. While not as strong as Alea Vignana, Argy is able to connect his prosthetic arm directly to Astaroth and pilot it better than a normal person could through the neural link. Soon after this, they would encounter a black mobile suit that was wearing a large amount of the Astaroth Origin form's armor, and in their second encounter, they identified it as the Gundam Vol, and its pilot is the man who had Ted assassinated, Rosario. Argy was able to defeat him in battle and take back more of Astaroth's original armor, like its feet, chest plate, and arm armor, which would greatly assist in their goal of restoring the Astaroth to its original form, and they estimated that with these new parts, they were about 82% complete. Astaroth's next form is the Astaroth Rinascimento. After Argy had Astaroth nearly 82% restored, it was stolen and sold again. It would eventually resurface in an underground market in the Jupiter sphere where Guy and Marco would purchase it back for Argy and Volko, except it was now missing more parts. So Guy and Marco repaired the suit with more parts from other machines, making it look even more asymmetrical. It did have some pretty nice upgrades though. Its horseshoe V-fin is now asymmetrical, with one side being longer and different. It now has blue armor plating on its right leg, as well as a new arm shield and a knuckle guard with a bigger subhand on it. Armaments. Demolition knife. Astaroth uses a massive folding knife that is stored on its back. Bastard knife. The bastard knife is a blade that can be attached to the demolition knife or used individually. It incorporates an explosive Dainsleif launcher in the blade. However, this Dainsleif is far less powerful than the actual Dainsleif, as it is only propelled by gunpowder. Subknuckle. On the left arm, an even larger subknuckle that is actually leg armor from a UGY R45 Garmrodi. This piece of metal acts as a shield as well as a giant blunt knuckle guard. Under this arm is a larger subhand that is used to hold the massive demolition knife, which resembles Argy's three-fingered prosthetic arm, shield arm. On its side is a shield that can unfold and be used as a third arm that can assist in holding equipment and other things. So, that has been Gundam Astaroth, what I like to call the pick-apart Gundam, as its main theme is using pieces and parts from other machines. I really liked how Argy and Astaroth are both misshapen and missing parts. They really have a cool pilot-to-machine connection. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And let me know if you'd like to see a video that covers the entire story of the Iron-Blooded Orphans side story manga.